Hi Tore, thanks for having me and for this great initiative. I'm happy to share my best tips and tricks around creating grid maps. What you see here, some might notice, is the District of Columbia. And this leads me to a general issue that we can have with filled maps. And the issue is that geographic large areas like Wyoming, for example, draw more attention and seem way more important, although, for example, in this case, District of Columbia has even more inhabitants than Wyoming. I even looked that up. And one thing to fix this is a grid map. You can create grid maps in different shapes. I really like these circular grid maps. And how does it work? You connect a secondary data source that holds custom latitudes and longitudes for your states, and then you bring it back in as a relationship or as a join, and you can use it to create maps like this. So put the X coordinate on columns and the Y coordinate on rows, and like that you can create areas that have all the same size, but still represent somehow the geographic area that you're presenting, like the US in this case. You can get really creative with this kind of thing. For example, I call this version a toffee map because it looks like toffees. Or you could use, again, the shape states like this to preserve geographic recognition. One issue with this kind of map is that it's not really a map because it's just a scatter plot basically, and that leads to distortions. You cannot keep the correct scaling, then you end up with something like this. Therefore, what you can do is to actually make it a map by using spatial calculations. And I'm looking here into my calculations. So what I've done here is I'm using MAKEPOINT to transform the coordinates into a point geometry. And then I put a buffer around it and I kind of played with it a little bit. It's 54,000 meters. And what this does is when I bring it in, it creates a perfect shape of this, and I can zoom in, zoom out, it keeps the relations. And when I put now the state on detail, I get my correct values for each of the states. First of all, what this does is when you create a map, it puts it on the coordinates on the map that are in your Excel file. Most of the time you start at 0, 0 and then go plus and minus, and that's why most of these maps sit somewhere in the west of Africa, like in my case as well. I'm using a shapefile here with hexagons, and it was created by Luke Stenke. And when you use files like this, you pretty soon run into issues when filtering these maps. Because you then don't have the spatial recognition of the area anymore. And one cool thing you can do is you can go to Mapbox, create a custom map, and add this as a background here. So even when filtering, you keep the familiar geographic area, and I think it is a quite cool effect. Then no demo without a order of operations lesson, because when you use shapefiles, I somehow stumbled upon this collect thing, and I figured out that collect is basically an aggregation. And when it's an aggregation, you can do something like this. You can LOD the geometry. And that is cool because you can bring that as a background layer. So you see here the geometry LOD, and then put your shapefile geometry on top of it. And when you then filter, you see the LOD geometry in the back and the non-LOD geometry on top of it. Last thing, and this is kind of my favorite, you can also upload your custom coordinates for your states as custom geocoding. So just upload that CSV file. And then you can convert, or you can assign these custom coordinates. Let me go here, geographic role. Here is the state grid. You can convert it directly without any additional file to a grid map. And this is maybe the quickest way of doing it. I hope you find this useful, and thanks for watching.